Hey everyone, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unlocking a massive new coding superpower in our STEM Python programming series. If you've been following along with the St. Paul unit sequence, you know we've already covered variables, data types, and basic commands. But today, we're taking a giant leap forward. We are diving into the Unit 05 Loops Explainer, and honestly, this is going to completely change the way you think about writing code and make your programs infinitely more powerful.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our essential question. How do programs repeat tasks efficiently? I want you to imagine, just for a second, being stuck in detention. Your punishment is to write the exact same sentence on a chalkboard 100 times. Your hand is cramping, it takes literally forever, and it's incredibly boring, right? Well, without loops, a computer program doing a repetitive task is just as tedious to write. We need a way to tell the computer to do all that heavy lifting for us.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about the power of repeating. Then, we'll meet the for loop, followed by the while loop. After that, we'll level up with loops inside of loops, tackle the danger of the infinite loop, and finally, wrap up everything you need to know about Python loops. Let's start with Section 1, the power of repeating, or as I like to call it, say goodbye to manual typing. This brilliantly illustrates exactly why loops are a total game changer. If you want to print a message 100 times manually, you literally have to type out that print command 100 separate times. It is a massive wall of text. But with loop coding, you write just 2 lines of code. Boom, done. By using a loop, you get the exact same result in a tiny fraction of the time and space. That's the kind of efficiency we're talking about. Moving right along to Section 2, let's meet the for loop, which is absolutely perfect for known quantities. Now, to actually use a loop, we usually need some data to work with. We call this a sequence. Think of a sequence as just a connected order of items. It could be a list of student names, the individual letters in a word, or even a list of high scores in a game. A for loop is basically designed to step right onto the sequence and travel through it, looking at each item one by one from the very beginning all the way to the very end. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we can actually generate our own sequences from scratch using a built-in Python tool called range. Range creates a specific sequence of numbers, and when you pair a for loop with a range, you get ultimate control. You can tell Python, hey, run this block of code exactly 10 times, or 50 times, or even 1,000,000 times. It executes the loop for the exact range you give it, and then it just gracefully stops. All right, Section 3, meet the while loop. This one is all about repeating until things change. Let's quickly contrast these two tools so we know when to use which. We just learned that the for loop is your go-to when you know the exact number of repetitions ahead of time. But our new tool, the while loop, is for when you're waiting for a specific condition to change. You don't know if it's going to take 3 tries or 300 tries. You just want the code to keep running while a certain situation remains true. So, here's the step-by-step logic happening inside the computer when it runs a while loop. Step 1, the computer checks a condition. Is it true? If yes, it moves to Step 2 and runs the block of code. Then it hits Step 3, it goes right back up to the top and checks that condition again. It's going to continuously repeat this cycle until that condition finally evaluates to false. The exact moment it's false, the loop breaks and the program happily moves on. To really ground this abstract logic, let's think about a real-world while loop. Imagine your chore is washing dirty dishes. You don't walk up to the sink and say, I am going to execute exactly 14 dishwashing motions. No way. You use a while loop. Your condition is, while there are still dirty dishes in the sink, you pick up a dish, wash it, and check the sink again. You just repeat this action until the sink is completely empty. That is literally a while loop in real life. Okay, Section 4. Let's talk about loops inside of loops, also known as the nested loop. You know, you can actually put one loop completely inside another to build a really fascinating structure. Imagine an outer loop that travels through the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Inside that, we have an inner loop, traveling through meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Now, for the outer loop to advance from Monday to Tuesday, the inner loop must completely finish all of its cycles first, so it goes Monday breakfast, Monday lunch, Monday dinner. Only then does the outer loop click over to Tuesday. It is an incredibly efficient way to organize complex, multi-layered data. Moving to Section 5, and this is a big one. Danger the infinite loop, or the runaway train of code. Listen, every single programmer, from absolute beginners to seasoned pros, runs into this hazard at some point. An infinite loop is a loop that simply never stops running. Why? because the condition it's checking never actually becomes false. If your while loop says, keep adding 1 to the score while the score is greater than 0, well, that score is just going to keep going up forever. The condition will never be false, the loop breaks your program, freezes things up, and just eats all your computer's memory.
Let's clear up a huge misconception right now. Computers don't just magically know when to stop. A computer isn't smart enough to say, hey, this programmer probably meant to stop at 1,000. I'll just go ahead and stop now. No. The computer blindly follows your instructions. If you give it bad loop logic, it will literally run that code forever, or at least until the machine runs out of power or crashes. You, the programmer, are 100% responsible for making sure your loops have a solid stopping point.
And finally, Section 6, wrapping up Python loops and reviewing your brand new coding superpowers.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that you now have the tools to meet all the student outcomes for this unit. You can choose the right loop types, whether that's a for loop or a while loop. You can iterate through data. You know exactly how to avoid those pesky infinite loops. And most importantly, you can use loops to efficiently solve practical, real-world programming problems.
I also want to point out something pretty amazing about what we just covered. According to our source notes, this Unit 05 pacing guide from St. Paul was recovered from a hidden Google Drive, and it technically outlines placement-dependent material designed for grades 9 through 12. So if you're a grade 7 learner tracking along with this explainer right now, huge congratulations. You are literally tackling advanced high school level computer science logic. How cool is that?
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought. If you could write a Python loop to perfectly repeat one positive habit in your daily life, what would that code look like? Would it be a for loop that runs exactly 10 times for your morning exercises? Or maybe a while loop that keeps you studying until your homework is completely done? Think about how the logic of loops can apply not just to computers, but to making your own life more efficient. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy coding.